Wow, I tried drawing like this one anime I watch. Anime? You can't do that! You don't own that style! You're off to artist jail, you monster! What? That's not even a thing! What the f- This just in, popular artist Bree Draws got cancelled and sent to a top security prison for the biggest art sin, drawing in a style that isn't hers. Hey Yappers, it's Bree and I'm back with another art discussion. I usually do art commentary and just art in general, so if that's what you like, you should stick around. Today I'm talking about a topic I've been seeing a lot lately, art style theft. It's up there with the 97,000 internet art commandments, right next to don't watermark your art and don't be a beginner artist. But you know what else there are 97,000 of? Subscribers. That's right, I'm at 97,000 subscribers, and if you enjoyed the video, help me get to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing. Heh, smooth transition, I know. Anyway though, right before I get to yapping on the topic, the super thank yous. Kitty Official, Cowardly Cowboy, Corey Dosa, and I'm Above Ye. And as usual, I said any names wrong, I apologize, and if you aren't here, you'll be in the next one. Okay, so art style theft. A phrase I hear too much, and see people getting pissed about even more. It's another art community concept I just don't get. So I wanted to give my thoughts on it. This whole discussion has just been resurfacing again as I keep seeing it more than usual, so similar to other topics I've been covering, I'm speaking about it. I've also been constantly getting asked, can I use your style? And, is it okay if I draw like you? And I've been seeing people get hate for drawing like me. Which, what the heck guys? If you know my content, you should know that stuff does not fly with me. Don't hate and harass people on my behalf. Now luckily I've never seen anyone full on harass others on my behalf, but I have seen people spread hate which really confuses me. An example I want to use is my lovely mutual, Lynn's Corner. She's an amazing fellow commentator and just an overall sweetheart. You might have heard me mention her in one of my recent videos, and that's because I'm an enjoyer of her videos. And she apparently got a few hate comments of people accusing her of quote-unquote copying me, despite my boundaries regarding my art being very public, but I'll get into those at the end of the video. She ended up making a whole video about it to clear it up. And I truly appreciate your concern, but that's not the way to go, nor do I take offense to Lynn taking inspiration from me. I'm a public subscriber and supporter of her channel. I find it flattering when people get inspiration from me and I encourage it, and actively hope to be an inspiration. My goal for this channel is quite literally to inspire and uplift artists. People always say, imitation is the best form of flattery, and when it comes to art, that phrase really resonates with me. But I will say this. That is not the case with everyone, and that's okay. I see people get hate for not particularly enjoying it, and while you may not see why, it's just because we're different and what you like, some others may not. Now, if they're being an excessive jerk about it, I get being mad at them for the way they express that opinion, but usually it's just an understandable, yeah, I don't get the appeal of that. But even then, some things just can't be avoided, and you can't exactly police harmless drawings. By that I mean, I've seen people demand people to take down their drawings that simply were in the same style, some people doing it on behalf of others instead of letting them speak for themselves. Which is wrong unless it's a direct copy of a piece that literally looks like they changed the color palette and that's it. That's where I understand a takedown request or credit request, since they're pretty much identical, but I'll talk more about that stuff later. Artists depend on inspiration. All styles, especially the really stylized ones, derive from inspiration. Most styles are mashed up versions of existing styles, or things inspired by existing styles that have planted a seed in their head. Like part of my style is inspired by earlier Magic Girl animes with big eyes. By your logic, I'm committing art theft to some degree. And by that logic, pretty much all artists have committed the irredeemable crime of art style theft, even if it's due to specific features being taken. Inspiration is good for artistic growth, and in many art classes you're literally asked to replicate things, and in animation jobs you have to adapt to show styles, so it matches up with the other animators working on the project. Most of these quote-unquote copycats will most likely switch styles anyways, as this is just one phase in their art journey. So a lot of times this phase isn't even permanent, and it's just a stepping stone for them. And if they enjoy it and stick to it, that's fine too, and there's really not much you could do about it. And they aren't wrong in doing so, unless they go too far, which I'll get into in a bit again, which is more of the actual bad forms of theft, in cases where I can agree they need to be stopped, or at least the potential has to be brought to them that they need to give credit. Anyway though, inspiration is important for improvement, and dipping your toes into different styles is good for improvement. It'll expand your artistic abilities, and help especially in art jobs where you'll need to adapt to different styles. And not all quote-unquote art style theft is intentional, and it pushes the idea that no style is completely original. Like a couple days ago, I got a comment saying that I was trying to be Lavender Town, and that I stole her style. Which if you don't know, she's a popular art YouTuber, you should really check her out, she's really cool. But at first I was like, what? Our styles are nowhere near the same. Because I haven't seen her style in a bit. Sure enough, when I looked her account up to see if it looked the same, it kinda did. We have pretty similar styles. Not completely, but I saw the commenter's vision. And I think it could be me subconsciously taking inspiration considering she was one of the first art YouTubers I watched. And she inspired me a lot when I was younger. But when figuring out my style, her art was nowhere near my mind at the time. And this happens often. With billions of people on Earth, do you honestly think you're the only one with a style close to yours? There's no original style. This is why, personally, I think the term copying is more fitting than stealing or theft, to be honest. And that's in the cases that it's intentional. Since, like I said, this quote-unquote theft or copying isn't always intentional. But since no style is original, you can never truly own an art style. You own it as in you made it, or you made it your own style. You can build up your style and call it your own, sure. You may have created it, but it's not something you owned and copyrighted so people can't use it. You have no actual rights or universal ownership over this that makes it so you're the only one that has ever made something similar. And because of this, someone can't steal something from you that you don't own. It doesn't belong to a specific person. It's free to use by anyone since there's so many ideas out there, at least one other person has also thought it up on their own. Another example I want to use is a few months back I had received a comment asking who Vizzypop was, because they were getting hate for apparently copying her. I redirected them to Helluva Boss and Has Been Hotel to see if they maybe heard of those since she's the creator, and they said they didn't know those shows, I believe at the time of creating the style, or ever since they didn't really specify. And nor did they know Vivzy. They built their style throughout time just as Vivzy did, and got a similar outcome. This further proves that no style is completely original. I think people still have their styles, whether they took inspiration from someone or not. I call my style since I use it. Everyone has a style. Even if you don't have some crazy unique style, what makes your style is your art journey. Your inspirations, your resources, all of that cannot be replicated to the T. Even in styles you may have shared with someone, there's most likely something within the art visually or in the process that makes it unique. The style itself may not be completely unique, but your art journey, what got you there, is. And I think originality, or more so the fear of the lack of it, is what the main cause of this art style theft being mentioned so much and treated as if it's a crime came from. I think that's where this fear of having their style stolen came from. So many artists want to be original, to be the only one, to be special. It's something you commonly see within the art community, especially when it comes to art styles. Most art style stress comes from wanting a unique style or creating unique concepts. And I don't think it should be villainized to want to be unique, but I do think how we go about things is important. This obsession with wanting to be unique and original can get toxic real fast. Like I said, with people demanding to take down art they spent time on because it looks similar. People literally gatekeeping colors, drawing apps, poses, as if they own them when they don't. It can get ridiculous. Not only that, but it can lead to artists unhealthily pushing themselves to be completely original when it's a goal you simply cannot attain. This is creating unrealistic standards that can make someone beat themselves up over nothing. But I understand the frustration of the idea of someone copying your art style. You took your time to craft that style, some taking years to. And it's okay to be upset, but there's not much you can do, and getting yourself stressed and worked up over it won't do much. It's frustrating, but it's true. Especially when you post online. You posting your art can make you an inspiration to others whether it's wanted or not. And sharing a style with someone is harmless, especially when the person doesn't even realize they're taking inspiration. But there are cases where I'd say it's valid to get upset about it and bring it to their attention, the public's attention, asking for removal or credits. And that's tracing without credits, excessive heavy referencing, and someone copying you so much people mistake them for you, intentional or not. Those aren't examples of art style theft, but those are the arguments I mainly see on this discussion. Whenever I see people who believe art style theft is real and this horrid thing, majority of the time their examples are examples of impersonation and art theft, not art style theft, which are whole different topics. Of course, there are still those who stay on topic and discuss their personal distaste for having people copy them, but I still want to go over these. Yes, tracing artworks without credits is bad, and is in a way art theft. You basically just draw over theirs, and it's not a style reference, but a direct yoink from the original piece right over to your canvas. They took your hard work and drew over it, when the credits are due since it's a very specific piece. Heavy referencing can get to the point where it's like a replica of your art but in different colors. That I also get. If it looks damn near the same as the original, I get being upset. It's like they took your piece and recolored it, similar to tracing. And finally, someone genuinely trying to be you, or getting so close to you that they're mistaken for you. I've heard these 3 cases mentioned, and yeah, that's the point where I'd say bringing it to the artist's attention is good. Asking for credit in these cases, or asking for removal, I completely get it. I've seen artists get copycats to directly try to be like them, but with small adjustments, often getting mistaken to be that person. And yeah, that extent of copying, I definitely get why it's uncomfortable. I think in those cases it should be handled with the artist. And if they're disrespectful or have bad intent, then yeah, call them out properly. Especially when it's a direct impersonation of them actually claiming to be you. That's the form of art theft to be worried about. And you might argue tracing and heavy referencing is the same as art style theft, but again, you don't own a style. You can own a specific piece. These usually have little to no alterations, and are usually direct copies off of one's piece. And it's more explicitly theft, while the discussion around art style theft is more nuanced, and I feel like it more so depends on whether or not they're trying to be you and what their intentions are. And tracing and heavy referencing is intentional, while this art style theft isn't always the intent to copy, but ends up happening in some cases, or again, can develop without the inspiration from that artist, since no art style is completely original. Some also argue that it can create a lack of originality in the art community, and we actually saw this a lot with the jelly art style getting popular and the hate surrounding it. Because this style got really popular, and people didn't like the style either because of the way it looked, or because it lacked originality. And I don't think that should hold people back from using the styles they want to. I think it's more of an issue if you force yourself to draw a certain way because it's popular. But if they're just having fun, I won't complain. Sure, it can get tiring to see the same style, but that's why you boost the critters you want to see and those with unique styles. And if you really don't like a style, press not interested. Styles are going to get popular, and yeah, it can annoy people. But it's best to spread support of the ones you love instead of hate for the ones you don't. Though with all this being said, I don't think you're the bad guy for being inspired by a style. And you're also not the bad guy for not being a fan of it. That's all valid, but it's about how you go about things. I think everyone's feelings are valid. I completely understand not wanting people to copy off of you, but we can't police what people do unless it begins to be actual art theft or impersonation. That's where a line is crossed. But yeah, that's my thoughts, and oh, here are my art-related boundaries for those wondering. It's also in my channel description, but I'm fine with tracing, referencing, and using me as an inspiration. You can also repost my art or recreate it, though if you repost my work or trace it, credits are appreciated but not necessary. I honestly don't mind much, to be honest. All I ask is you don't sell or profit off my work in any way, and that includes trace works. Honestly, as long as you're having fun and happy drawing, I don't care about that stuff because it doesn't really bother me. But that's just me, and for others it could be different. So don't take this as me saying, go around tracing and reposting art without credits. These are just my personal preferences. Oh, and as for video topics and such, no credits at all are needed. I've had people ask if they can cover a topic that I have, and it's like, I don't own those topics. They're not new. Even if I happen to bring a new commentary topic to the table, or be the first to discuss a situation, you don't need my permission to cover it too. Have fun, go be yappers, guys. I encourage people to be inspired to start commentary or talk about these topics that I do. And if you want to tag me, it's up to you, go do it. But yeah, as usual though, my opinion is not a gospel and I don't want to present it as such. So research the topic and come to your own conclusion, and if you disagree, comment down below, maybe we can have a discussion. Comment your thoughts and opinions, preferably respectfully, and again, if you'd help me get to my goal of 100,000 subscribers, that'd be awesome sauce. Here are the scrumptious brush codes, and with that, remember to love your art, love others, and love yourselves. Bye!